Rapper Jim Jones once said, "Being a rapper is the most dangerous job in the world. Over half of fallen hip-hop artists have died by homicide. The other half is probably drug overdose and car crashes." Speaking of car-related deaths, today we're ranking every fallen rapper's car collection, starting with Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Killed in a car accident in Honduras in 2002 while driving a red Mitsubishi Montero SUV. A Mitsubishi was the perfect choice as Caribbean roads are not the smoothest, but it was not the safest pick apparently. Besides that, she collectively purchased a silver Mercedes C-Class W205 with her boyfriend Andre Rison. Number 25th rank. Lil Loaded was found dead by his mother at 20 years old. The cause? Suicide via gunshot wound to the head. Deshaun was often seen driving a blue Chevy Camaro ZL1, and there's no secret as to why. One of Loaded's favorite toys, though, was a Can-Am Ryker three-wheeler. He loved it so much that when he wrecked the first one, he bought a second one as a replacement. I quote, "I don't need a Bentley, I'm happy with my Ryker." 24th place for Lil Loaded. The greatest freestyle ever for many, Juice WRLD, passed away from codeine and oxycodone overdose. The Chicago legend didn't have a devoted passion for automobile, yet was still seen driving some cool whips: Ferrari 488 GTB, Corvette C7, Lamborghini Huracan, and Rolls-Royce Cullinan. However, Gerard's engineer stated that he never actually owned any of these cars, but he did own 10 dirt bikes and 4 ATVs. 23rd rank. While on a tour bus near Tucson, Arizona, 21-year-old Lil Peep died from a severe overdose of Xanax and fentanyl. His car taste was quite unique, from owning a 1976 Plymouth Duster, probably his first car that he didn't want to separate from, to a custom white Brabus G-Wagon that he even made a song about, and a black Infiniti G35, a car from every part of the world. Peep was a cultured man. Let's not forget his BMW Series 3, one of his favorite daily drivers back when he was dating Bella Thorne. It was even rumored that he wrapped it in chrome gold. 22nd place. On November 1st, 2022, Migos member Takeoff was fatally shot in Houston. The low-key rapper was not a flaunter, probably the most subtle from the trio, but still, Kershnick liked to have some fun. He was the owner of a crazy white Maserati Grand Cabrio worth $250,000. It was his go-to, especially for sunny days. When it rained, it was time for his neon green Mercedes G550 4x4 squared that went over any puddle. A Porsche Cayenne could also be found in the garage, as well as a Rolls-Royce Cullinan shared with Quavo. Number 21st rank. When we talk true OGs, someone by the name of Coolio has to be mentioned. The man really had built a gangster's paradise for himself. But at 59 years old, everything went dark. Coolio passed away on September 28, 2022 from fentanyl, heroin, and a methamphetamine overdose. Sad. He lived quite a longer life than our fellow rappers though, so he bought more cars as a result. His latest daily was a black Maserati Ghibli, a great Italian sedan. When he was younger at the height of his fame, Coolio was whipping the 2000s Dodge Viper, a 1996 Hummer H1, and a Mercedes-Benz W140. 20th place for him. Big Scar was an uprising star from Memphis. Reality hit when Alexander got his last breath at his girlfriend's house, where he died from a prescription drug overdose. Mopars was Scar's thing. He was seen many times hanging out with Kamakat, a well-known Mopar lover. He drove a custom blue Corvette C8 convertible, an orange Lamborghini Huracan Spider, a bulletproof Cadillac Escalade, a Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, and a custom lifted Ford F350. Number 19th rank. Near the University of South Florida on June 23, 2024, an early morning shooting fired and Julio Fulio left his life there. The car in the incident was a black Charger Scat Pack. Fulio loved nice cars. He bought a red Ford Mustang before his Scat. He also had an orange Lamborghini Huracan like Scar, and his daily was a satin black Mercedes-Benz CLS 550 that he cherished very much. An ocean blue McLaren 570S Spider was also part of his collection at one point, and a Cadillac Escalade, safety purposes. 18th place for Fulio. YSL rapper Lil Keed is a whole other story. After complaining of stomach and back pains, Keed was taken to the hospital where he suffered a seizure and died the next morning. Rakeed was apparently suffering of eosinophilia. Unlike his rap partners, he was into electric stuff. His latest purchase was a Mustang Mach-E, the 100% electric SUV from the Horse brand. Don't get me wrong, he also loved the exotics: slime green Lambo Huracan, Rolls-Royce Cullinan, Range Rover Sport, Challenger Hellcat, and Corvette C8, were among his main choices too. Number 17th rank. Patrick Lamarck Hawkins, aka Fat Pat, was a prominent rapper of the 90s. On February 3, 1998, Hawkins was fatally shot by an unknown gunman in Houston after going to a promoter's apartment to collect an appearance fee. The promoter was not home, and he was shot in the corridor outside the apartment. He was 27 years old. Pat was into flamboyant slab culture, if I could say the least. His bloody red 1998 Lincoln Town Car was iconic for the culture. So much that when people saw it in town, everybody knew it was him. Just for that, Pat deserves 16th place. You know what they say, only the family matters. King Von is still a hot topic to this day. At 26, he was shot and killed outside a club in Atlanta. After peaking number 5 on the Billboard 200, Von was bringing in a lot of capital home. He had bought himself a white $350,000 Rolls-Royce Wraith, a black and yellow Chevy Camaro ZL1, and a Cullinan. He even bought a yellow Corvette C7 for his sister. But the most special ride from all that had to be a bulletproof Charger Hellcat wide-body. He was gifted that for his birthday. Great gift. Number 15th rank for Von. One rapper that was not spared either was XXXTentacion. On a calm afternoon, X was fatally shot and killed in Deerfield Beach outside River Motorsports, an upscale seller of motorcycles and watercraft. The car he was shot in became legendary. His matte black BMW i8, that was his first car, bought for $150,000. That car is now showcased in a museum. Besides his i8, Jay was also seen with a black Huracan and his candy red Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, bought for $100,000. His Mercedes Sprinter van was surprisingly one of his faves too. Whether it was moving around with his loved ones or just shopping, the Sprinter was doing the job. With his first check, he even gifted his mom a Mercedes-Benz GLE worth $90,000. But undoubtedly, his i8 will go down in history for years to come. 14th place. When we talk huge impact and legacy, DJ Screw comes to mind. On November 16, 2000, Robert was found dead inside his Houston recording studio, dying from a codeine overdose in addition to mixed drug intoxication. Screw was a Houston legend and a huge inspiration for many of today's artists like Travis Scott or Megan Thee Stallion. His iconic Screw Blue 96 Impala SS on choppers was a true statement piece, legendary in every way possible. He also owned an 8-gen 1988 Oldsmobile Delta Coupe, a classic of its time too, guys. Number 13th place for Screw. Even more legendary is Compton native Eazy-E, who died from AIDS including pneumonia at 30 years of age. Eric Lynn was so influential, his cars were a staple in California. Let's start with his white 1996 BMW 8 Series with chrome wheels. Now think of this ride as the Gucci suit of cars back in the 90s. Sleek, sophisticated, and dripping with luxury. Eazy-E clearly had a taste for the finer things. Under the hood was a 5.4-liter V12 pushing out 320 horses. His classic cruiser was a 1963 Chevy Impala, which was and still is a West Coast classic. Equipped with a 327 cubic inch V8 engine, it could still pack a punch. And his had a gorgeous mint color to it. That's taste right here, baby. Number 12th rank. Mac Miller struggled with addiction and substance abuse, which was often referenced in his lyrics. In August 2016, Mac started dating Ariana Grande and broke up in May 2018. Now on September 7, 2018, he died from a drug overdose of cocaine, fentanyl, and alcohol at his home at the age of 26. Mac's car choices were pretty atypical. His daily was a blacked out 2012 Fisker Karma Coupe, a very prestigious electric sporty vehicle released in 2011. It was eventually sold at Barrett Jackson's for $150,000. Besides that, he owned a white 2016 G-Wagon, which he crashed in Los Angeles. He was also the proud owner of a 1964 Cadillac Eldorado convertible, customized candy apple green. A silver BMW i8 took part of his driveway too. His dream car was a psychedelic 1964 Rolls-Royce Phantom 5 that John Lennon owned. Unfortunately, he couldn't get his hands on it soon enough. Life didn't give him that chance. 11th place. Entering the top 10, we have icon Nate Dogg, an artist with a silky, burly voice who helped shape the sound of West Coast hip-hop. He died at 41 years old, complications of a stroke, said his manager. In his prime era, Nate was whipping them things though. He flexed with the yellow Lamborghini Diablo VT. No joke for the 90s. His silver on silver Aston Martin DB7 was next level too. He had also a Lexus SC, a more low-key daily, and a Chrysler 300 CS. Pimped out. Of course he had an Impala too. Couldn't be missing that. Who we miss more than ever is Jay the Young Man, who was fatally shot on July 27, 2022 in his hometown by 5 unknown assailants. Javorius was a 24-year-old with multi-million dollars to his name, so he loved to splurge. His favorite car was an all-blue custom Corvette C8 Stingray, riding on 23-inch Forgiatos. But Jay really was into the vets. He had a hot red Corvette C7 too. His third car was a 2019 Mercedes-Benz C-Class, purchased after being in the industry for 3 years. He ended up buying a blue Mercedes GLE too. So many accomplishments, 9th rank for Jay. A notorious figure in rap was undoubtedly Biggie. The Notorious B.I.G. was murdered in a drive-by shooting in early hours of March 9, 1997 in Los Angeles, California. Christopher Wallace was 24 years old. His name will be remembered forever. His cars too though. Biggie drove multiple cars during his fame. His dark green 1997 GMC Suburban was the car of the tragedy. He got shot in that. Smalls bought it for $22,500. It was sold at a whopping $1.5 million after his passing. Besides that, he owned a 1994 Honda Civic CX hatchback, purchased before he achieved success as a rapper. His red Toyota Land Cruiser J8 was crazy too. It wasn't expensive, but Big made sure to stand out from the others. The list continues with his Lexus GS300, Range Rover 4.6, and BMW M3 E36. All excellent cars. 8th place. Longest lived rapper in this list so far is DMX, who lived 50 years before dying of a drug overdose and a subsequent heart attack. In the late 90s, early 2000s, you could hear him everywhere. DMX was that guy. So much, his cars reflected his ego perfectly. Check it out. A silver 2000 Mercedes-Benz CL500 was unavoidable. Neither his Range Rover and Bentley Azure, while his 1963 Chevy Impala had a mural on the trunk depicting the princess of R&B Aaliyah, who was killed in an airplane accident in the Bahamas. He also drove a yellow 1996 Chevy Nova 2 on special occasions. Pretty solid fleet. Number 7th rank. At 33 years old, it's Nipsey Hussle who left the earth. He was fatally shot outside his store in South Central LA with assets worth more than $11 million. Nipsey sure knew how and where to invest and spend his hard-earned dollars. Cars was one of them. His V12 Mercedes-Benz CL600 with wheels from Ace Executive was really dope. It was plain, black, and chrome. But he was so much into Benz that he also got a Maybach version of the S-Class, completely blacked out. His white 1977 Lincoln Mark 8 though might have been his most iconic car. Same for his silver Mercedes-Benz SL. Such classics. 6th place. The Hollywood Hills is a pretty strange place. New York native Pop Smoke was gunned down on February 19, 2020 during a home invasion in the hills. The cause of Bashar's death was a gunshot wound to the chest. The Wu was one of the most prominent rappers in the game. His car journey was a trip. He had a two-tone black and white Rolls-Royce Wraith that he allegedly stole, but also a 295 horsepower 2022 Dodge Durango and a Bentley Bentayga. Now let me tell you, that is a long way from his first whip, a gray BMW 3 Series that he had in high school at 17. His latest buy, the one that was there the day of the calamity, was a Range Rover SV Autobiography. For clarity though, the blue Bugatti Veyron 16.4 in the Gotti music video wasn't his. 5th rank for Pop Smoke. Found dead by his own brother, Rich Homie Quan was 34 years old when he passed away from a drug overdose on September 5, 2024. Several drugs were found in Quan's system, including fentanyl, alprazolam, codeine, promethazine, and THC. His fleet of cars was OD though. No bad jokes intended. His first car was a wild Chevy Camaro LS swapped 3rd generation Z28 on concave 22-inch black and red wheels. Not bad for a first ride, right? Quan made sure to keep it fresh and modded it to the max. His blacked out fleet also included a luxurious Rolls-Royce Wraith, a Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat, and a Mercedes Sprinter van with custom wheels. Of course he had a Charger Hellcat too. Nothing to say. Great choices overall. 4th rank. Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles restaurant in South LA is where a nightmare occurred on September 12, 2022. P&B Rock was casually eating when a gunman appeared and demanding jewelry and other valuables before getting into a struggle with the rapper and opening fire. Rock, 30, had been at the restaurant with his girlfriend, who had posted a location tag photo in a since-deleted Instagram post. One day, he crashed his Rolls-Royce Dawn in the gate by going too fast in reverse. He didn't care, so he bought a neon green Mercedes G550 4x4 the next day as a replacement. This Bentley Bentayga was also his, and this Bentley Mulsanne too. He blessed his baby mama Steph with a Mercedes AMG GLE 63 S Coupe as well. Third place for Rock. Tupac Shakur was 25 years old when he got struck by 4 rounds fired from a .40 caliber Glock, 2 in the chest, 1 in the arm, and 1 in the thigh. The very vehicle he was shot in, a 1996 BMW 750iL, a black sedan with bright chrome wheels that Suge Knight was driving during the night of the shooting. The car was sold for $1.75 million on a Las Vegas sale. On his 21st birthday, Tupac bought a black Jeep Grand Cherokee in June of 1992 for $30 grand. His ivory Range Rover met its demise when Pac's friend, Hussein Fatal, borrowed it without his permission and totaled it. Everyone at Death Row Records knew you had to be out of your mind to mess with something that belonged to Tupac, and the rapper was so mad about the SUV that he immediately sent his accomplice back to Cali. Like his friend Mike Tyson, Pac was in love with his 1995 Rolls-Royce Corniche 4, but also with his emerald 1995 Jaguar XJS, a 6-cylinder convertible auctioned on eBay in 2008 with a $40,000 opening bid. His lemon yellow 1961 Chevy Impala was a head-turner and a huge influence on West Coast culture. When Pac was in his Euro vibes, he drove his Mercedes-Benz 500 SL worth between $100 and $200 grand. Lastly, his 1996 Hummer H1 was a true monster. It was sold in an auction for $337,144. Tupac's collection is arguably one of the most legendary in the rap industry. Second place rank. And although Tupac had a real sense for autos, no one quite did it like Young Dolph. On November 17, 2021, Adolph Robert Thornton Jr. was shot and died from gunshot wounds of the head, neck, and torso. An autopsy revealed that Dolph had 22 gunshot wounds from bullet entries and exits. When he was here, he made sure to one-up everybody else with his fleet of cars. Every single one of his cars were wrapped in now legendary camouflage wrap. The long list included a Ford Mustang GT, a classic Ford GT, Corvette C7 ZR1, Dodge SRT Demon, Dodge Challenger RT, Dodge Charger Hellcat, Corvette C8 Stingray, present the day of his homicide, Rolls-Royce Cullinan, Rolls-Royce Wraith, G-Wagon, Mercedes C-Class, Land Rover Defender, Nissan GTR, Ferrari 488 GTB, Bentley Continental GT, Lamborghini Urus, Chevy Camaro ZL1, Mercedes AMG GT, Chevy Pickup Silverado, Ford F-150 SVT Lightning, and a gigantic Ford F-350. I count 21 cars. Without hesitation, the most epic fleet of all. First place for Young Dolph. We all know now that safety is super important, especially when you're a rapper. That's why there's rappers who went completely bulletproof after they saw what happened to their partners in the rap game. From six-wheelers to tanks, these rappers own the wildest anti-bullet cars on the planet. Rest in peace to everyone mentioned in this video.